How's it, guys? We have had some technical issues this week. First time for a while we haven't actually been recorded our podcast all together in person, which we have now worked out is actually a hell of a lot easier. Pardon the delay in getting this out. We were hoping to get this out on Monday morning, but anyway, here it is. This is just kind of a quick recap of the last day or so that we spent at the Johnson Workwear Open. And just our thoughts on kind of the Sunshine Tour, the media side of it, touching on a few of the players, and a couple of ideas in here around maybe some innovation on the Sunshine Tour. So here we go. Over this episode.
Because I do 1,300 crunches and sit-ups 4 times a week.
What's a dose? Can you translate for us?
Winner of the gold medal and the champion golfer of the year is Ernie Els.
All right, well, happy Monday, everyone, and welcome back to. Well, it might not be Monday when you listen to this, so might need to rethink that intro. But welcome back to episode 21 of the Go Track, the podcast about golf and golf adjacent stuff, mostly from Africa. We might need to think about changing that as well, because Hoff quite likes the saying the podcast mostly about golf, which I think is probably pretty apt for what we do. My name is Terence, aka TBag, or Big T, as the Hoff likes to call me. Joining me today is Mr. JDV. Hello, Jacques.
What up, Terence?
Jacques, pretty big deal. We're turning 21 today, episode 21. Nothing to be shy about. Not sure I thought we would ever get to 21 episodes, but here we are.
Yes, I didn't think we'd get to 3 episodes, let alone 21. So far surpassed my expectations.
Yeah, well, we've probably got to think about some sort of celebratory exercise that we'll undertake. Trying to remember my 21st, which was we hired out the Kenton Town Hall, and we had a pirates and prostitutes party. So that was we probably won't do something similar to that. What did you do for your 21st?
It was also in the sort of Lower Albany area. It was in Grahamstown. We had the bowling club, and the theme was SIFF, S-I-F-F. So everyone had to dress as SIFF as they could, and guys really produced the goods. Just a quick one of the funny stories there was that my mom had made like a bunch of lasagna for the party, and then at the end she's like, look, didn't really want to do a pudding, so I bought all of these, those marshmallow eggs. So she bought a whole bunch of boxes of those marshmallow eggs. She said, I'm just going to put these on the table, and then if I just want to try them. And I was like, look, that's a probably pretty apt 21st pudding, I suppose, for a bunch of students, but I guarantee that if you put those things on the table, guys are just going to start chucking them at each other. Anyway, no sooner had she put them on the table than these bloody marshmallow eggs started getting thrown around the hall with reckless abandon. So, not the best idea to give a bunch of drunken road students marshmallow eggs at sort of 10 o'clock at night at the bowls club.
What was the best SIF outfit that arrived?
I think we might change the age restriction if I tell you. So maybe I'll let you know offline.
Yeah, I can only imagine like road students bringing the absolute worst. I mean, you didn't even need to have that party theme for road students to dress up SIFly. So to specifically ask them to dress up as SIF is that's looking for trouble. But anyway,
a number of people came dressed in my kit. They just got into my room and just dressed in my clothes, which was pretty SIF, I suppose. And then there were some other classics. So I had I was wearing a jersey that we actually found on a beach in Mozambique. It was probably the SIFest jersey. It was this like snot green color that had been stretched beyond sort of recognition of what a normal size jersey looks like. So like the length of it sort of came just above like where your nipples would be. and the width was like the size of your arms. It was the grossest thing that we had basically found on a deserted beach in Mozambique. And that was what I wore. But the winner was a mate of mine who came as a used sanitary pad.
Okay, yeah, we're definitely going to have to scrub or change the
Scrub the audio.
specifications of this podcast. Look, time has passed. A lot of time has passed since those days. So happy 21st to us here at the Goat Track. Yeah, we'll probably put out. I think our audience, our loyal audience, we threatened this earlier, talking about our first 50 listeners. But I'm considering now, Jacques, maybe our first. On the occasion of our 21st birthday, I think the first loyal 21 listeners, we're gonna probably send a little surprise package to. So yeah, we'll put something on social media. We'll try and work out a way for you guys to contact us. Probably be some sort of random email address. So yeah, look out for that. Jacques, can I just say, can you just hold the microphone a little bit further away from your mouth? There's a little crackly coming through there.
Is that better?
But yeah, that's better. That's better. Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, we had our first day one kind of Johnson Workwear Open thoughts, and yeah, today's episode was just kind of having additional thoughts based on the extra time that I spent there and your sort of short time you were there on Friday. But did you catch the end? Did you catch any of the golf yesterday? I know you were playing golf as well, but did you watch any of the final round?
Unfortunately not. By the time I got back from Club Champs, it was about 7 o'clock, so it was over by that stage. And yeah, I think I was battling some heat stroke at the same time, so I wasn't far out of bed from when I got home.
36 holes is tough for us amateurs, eh?
Yeah, I also was trying to tunnel my inner tiger, so I was wearing tiger red and the black sleeves and the rest of it. So it was probably not a great decision for 38 degree heat in Pietermaritzburg. So needless to say, concentration was difficult when you pretty much felt yourself melting into the green.
No, that doesn't sound ideal. Well, I mean, I was going to ask you at the end of the podcast, but how did you go overall on the weekend, Club Champs?
Yeah, it was, I'd say, a solid performance. I think I was top 10 in BDiv. Pretty certain. I haven't seen the final results, but yeah, managed 85, 82. With medal, 2 days of medal in sort of Club Champ scenario, I was pretty happy with that. Yeah.
No, that is good. You shared your scorecard from Saturday with me, and you had one or two numbers, obviously with medal that skewed, but overall, especially based on where you were on sort of Thursday night with the screen golf, it sounds like you pulled things in the right direction, because things were you were getting into your own head and inside that pub. We can get into that when we chat about our screen golf pod. Yeah, well done. Top 10. That's good. That's nothing to be ashamed of. That's brilliant. Yeah, obviously, Matteo Manacera went on and won the Workwear Open. It was, I did catch I want to say I caught like the final back nine, but they had to pause play on like the 17th hole when Manacera was on the 17th hole for one of those cracker lightning storms that came through. And then I think the broadcast never came back. If it did, I certainly didn't see it. But at that stage, I was deep into the switching between the Liverpool, Man City, and France versus Wales Six Nations match. So golf had dropped down the priority list there. But evidently, Manacera finished with 4 birdies in a row to win by 2 or 3, I think. So cracker finish from him. And I was pretty stoked, to be honest. Just actually reading up a little bit. I mean, I went out and followed him on Friday when he shot that 61. And I think I was telling you that he could easily have shot 59 on Friday. He missed 2 sort of putts probably within 6 feet on the 7th and the 8th holes, which could have ended up with a 59. But when you go back and read about Matteo Manacera, like when he arrived on the scene, he was an absolute lightning bolt. I mean, you kind of, I had to go back and reread some of his history this morning, but by the time he was 20, he had won 4 times on the DP World Tour, and he had broken a whole bunch of records up to that point. I mean, I think he became the youngest ever winner of the British Amateur. He was the youngest silver medalist at the Open Championship. I think he was like 17, and he played in the Masters when he was 16 and a half or something. I mean, he was like a real lightning bolt talent, and then just totally lost it. Just, listening to another podcast earlier, they were saying apparently he tried to chase kind of speed, and in the process just lost his swing completely. And 10 years later, he's finally won on the DP World Tour again. So pretty cool story to see Oaks go like completely into the doldrums.
Was that his first win in 10 years?
On the main tour, it was, yeah. He has won like on the Challenge Tour, but yeah, I think that's the first one on the DP World Tour in 10 years. Yeah, so nice story, and it was awesome just because having gone and followed him Friday, it was nice to see him close it out. There were obviously a whole bunch of other South Africans in the hunt.
Pretty nuts though to see 26 under winning at Terence.
Yeah, it is. It's I mean, look, as we know, on Friday they were playing lift, clean, and place, which it's kind of a little bit of a disgrace, to let the guys are dominating the golf course as it is, and now they're allowed to pretty much give themselves a perfect lie. I understand they had a little bit of rain on Thursday night, but I didn't see, like, it's not like the fairways were muddy. It like, if anything, maybe there was a little bit of like moisture like first thing in the morning, but I mean by like 10 o'clock in the morning the fairways were totally normal. So I think that's why it won't stand as the course record at Glendower, because it was preferred lies. But look, they, as we said in our previous podcast, they just totally dominate these old layouts, Jacques, with their power. It's just nuts. So, talking of power, were there any other, like, I do want to chat a bit about some of the behind the scenes observations that I had, but were there any other like players that you saw in person that either first time seeing them you were impressed with, or maybe some older guys who it was nice to see again, who like reaffirmed your joy for watching them?
Yeah, I think it was lekker to see Andy Sullivan. Follow, he's great on Instagram, and he does a lot of the DP World Tour media stuff. So he did that chasing the hole in one. He did another one where he did a 6-iron for a full 18 holes. So it was cool seeing him out there. Jamie Donaldson, I think you've got a story about Jamie Donaldson, but I mean he's a Ryder Cupper, so it was cool seeing Jamie Donaldson. And then Brandon Stone. I mean, the three of them were paired together. Brandon Stone, yes, it looked like he was struggling. He was sort of grinding hard out there when we were watching him. But it was cool to see some of those sort of older guys.
Yeah, Brandon Stone did actually end up missing the cuts. So yeah, we followed those three guys. Who would, if you had to choose in order of preference of having a beer with those three guys, what would be your sort of power ranking?
Andy Sullivan won. I think then I would say Jamie Donaldson, then Brandon Stone. Okay.
Yeah, it was cool. I'd never really seen it. So I would have Brandon Stone at number 2. Jamie Donaldson. So I went to see him tee off on the 10th hole. I went to watch that group tee off on the 10th hole, and I've heard some like stories, kind of behind the scenes stories about him, that he's a little bit prickly, and so there were literally 3 of us fans standing behind the tee box, like, when you're standing right, like close by, 3 of us. And I mean, we were literally standing like there, just watching the guys about to drive. And like as he kind of steps up for his turn, and you can see him, they start getting into the routine, he like stops and he stares back at the 3 of us and he goes, "Stand still, please, gentlemen." And it was just like a very prickly, like kind of thing to say. Like it's not like we were moving about or, shit, at the end of the day, we're the only 3 fans there to watch you hit the ball, Bruce. So it didn't endear me to him much. And then I saw him like crapping on a couple holes later. I saw him crapping on the girl with the microphone who like was on the fairway, like following them around. He was like directing her where to stand, like behind him, so she wasn't in his eye line. And so anyway, so he's definitely down at number 3 on that list for me. But yeah, Andy Sullivan seems like a cool guy. I've always seen him on TV, but again, it's one of those things, going to these tournaments, you just don't pick up on like a guy's like vibe or his I don't know. He's got like a bit of swagger. Andy Sullivan. He had like a very steamy green kind of shirt on with like matching shoes, which was certainly an interesting vibe. And then he's got I didn't realize he's got that pretty sick like tattoo of a lion on his arm, which is like massive. So yeah, does seem like an interesting fella. The only other guy I wanted to mention, and I mentioned this to you on site, but I never got a chance to go and see him, was this English guy called Marco Penge. I didn't really know who this guy was. I was standing also on the 10th tee, and I had to actually look the guy up on my phone quickly. And holy shit, bro, does this guy hit the crap out of the ball. I think he was playing with like some Scandinavian guy, Keltson or something like that. And this Keltson guy hit like a bit of a poof ball of a 3-wood, like just down the kind of the middle of the 10th fairway. And then this Marco dude stands up and just mashes driver. And I promise you could almost see the Scandinavian guy like twitch as Penge hit the ball. He was like, holy crap, this is in like another league. But yeah, it was one of those guys that you actually just want to go and see hit a couple of drives on the golf course, a bit like Wilco, where, you know, if they mash one, and maybe I got lucky that he mashed one straight, but it's like they're at another level to even the rest of the pros. So apparently he's second in driving distance on the DP World Tour. So he's a youngish British guy. So yeah, someone to maybe keep a lookout for.
So Terence, I wanted to pick your brain. So did you feel, firstly, I think you sold yourself short, or maybe you oversold Jamie Donaldson, because he didn't have 3 fans watching him. He probably had 2 fans and a media contingent watching him. Do you feel like your media bona fides were you a bit more comfortable in your skin on that second day?
Yeah, definitely, Jacques. I strode into the media center on Friday morning, and I played it very cool. I just kind of nodded my head to the boys. You know, didn't have the awkward like walk in that you and I had, and yeah, I sort of quickly shuffled to the back. I decided on Friday that, well, firstly, I needed to get our podcast out that we'd recorded. So, I needed to do some serious media work. That's why I was in the media center, obviously. And yeah, I decided that I was going to spend a bit of time in there. I wanted to try and chat to a couple of the guys. But anyway, what firstly, the one thing that did make me chuckle is when I walked into the media center, and I sort of walked to the back, and the golf was on. And then I looked up and I was like, wait, hang on, this is not like the DP World Tour. And like the whole media center was watching live golf. Like it was that was the golf that was on the TV. And I was like, oh, that's pretty funny. And I mean, the guys were properly engaged because, they obviously know a lot of the South African guys who are playing there and stuff. So obviously I did realize later that the DP World Tour broadcast feed only starts at like, I guess, 11 in the morning or something. So yeah, so that did make me chuckle though. And then yeah, man, it was quite impressive, like just to see these proper media guys like just going about their day's work, you know. I mean, they seriously graft hard, and yeah, there were a couple of older proper like journalist guys who went there on the Thursday, who arrived on the Friday, and they I think they're there to write the more like long form type articles and columns and that. So
start off by saying, sorry, Terence, you're in my seat. This is, you obviously new here. This is where I sit.
Yeah, not quite, but they definitely scared me out a little bit. Yeah, but anyway, I was like, whatever, I'm comfortable in my own skin here. And but then there's the real like guys who I think are generating the more of the real time media. So yeah, there's the guys who doing photography, video, and the social media stuff. And I mean, those guys are grafting, hey? It's kind of like reminded me of like they're almost like the backstage guys at a rock concert, you know. They are like in and out of that media center nonstop with their like cameras. So they cruise out on the course for like an hour, and they go and they sort of have to keep track of like guys who are rising up the leaderboard. So as an example, Manacero was on like a hot run on that Friday, so they all kind of gravitated out towards him, snapping like hundreds of like proper professional photos and videos and stuff, and then they back in that media center and they're editing, they're uploading these things online, and evidently they basically sell their stuff to, you know, the media outlets across the world. So it goes on to like Associated Press, media drops, and then the media guys are buying them like from all over the world. And then the social media, like the guy from the Sunshine Tour who does the social media feed, he is like in and out, and I mean he's posting stuff like, you know, like nonstop. And like, yeah, really, really grafting. So it was pretty impressive to see these oaks kind of look. I know they do this probably at every single tournament, but you know, we sit at home and you look at your Instagram or your your Twitter or whatever, and you're looking at all these videos and feeds and stuff coming through, but there's a whole like machine behind that that's kind of trying to produce that stuff in real time. So that was impressive to see, I must say. I had quite a long chat with a gentleman, and I hope he forgives me for not remembering his name, but he's the marketing manager for the Sunshine Tour. And I sat down with him and had quite a long chat. He was kind of interested to hear about the podcasting space and that, but he was a young guy, and like he was just telling me how they're on a massive drive to try and bring a younger audience to the Sunshine Tour. But he says it's flipping difficult. It's like the difficulty is in this country is that the number of golfers is growing, or even though some people believe that it isn't, like there is actually a pretty significant net positive growth in golfers, but the converting just your ordinary golfers to like become golf fans of like pro golf is like a very different thing. I'm sure you probably have mates who are like golfers who don't ever watch pro golf.
So was it Mtabisi Mchali? Is that who you were talking to?
Yeah, that's him.
Yeah, so I mean, I would be saying that's exactly what we're talking about, is the fact that, you know, where we mentioned on the last pod that you've got all of this actually flipping decent golf and very entertaining golf on the doorstep in the Sunshine Tour, but yeah, it's to try and get people engaged in, you know, watching, and I'm going to call it that sort of tier of golf. And I certainly don't think there's an issue with the interest in golf in South Africa. I mean, you can see the club membership, and I think after COVID, you know, there was a huge increase in rounds around South Africa. But again, it's trying to marry up the social sort of recreational golf with interest in the pro golf. And I mean, you know, take Live and PGA and the rest of it aside, but the interest in the local professional golf scene, you know, you've really got to be a marketing guru to tap into that, because I do think it's a gold mine if you can tap in properly.
Yeah, look, he said it's the other challenging thing for them is sponsorship. So, you know, like they do have some, in the last couple of 18 months to 2 years, they've had some like pretty big or guys come on board and commits to like kind of recommit to the Sunshine Tour. So like you would see now that they do weekend broadcasts on the Sunshine Tour for, I think, 2 or 3 hours for a lot of the Sunshine Tour events, which is something that's quite new. So whether it's a DP World Tour event or not, I don't know whether it's Saturday, but definitely on Sundays they're covering the trying to cover like the back nine at least. And they've tried to move like play with the television windows a little bit, where they're trying to come in. So if there's a DP World Tour event, they're trying to like finish before the back nine of the DP World Tour event kind of finishes. So they're trying to finish sort of just after lunchtime. if it's a Sunshine Tour event only. So they're trying, and they're trying to get people to the actual courses. As we know, that's quite difficult. I noticed on the weekend, I mean, it's hard to tell at Glendower. There did look like there were a few more fans there than when you and I were there, but certainly it wasn't full by any stretch of the imagination. And then, he said with sponsors, it's tricky. Just getting guys to commit in the long term. So guys are happy to sign like a 1-year sort of sponsorship deal, like sort of subject to a whole bunch of conditions. So it's difficult to get kind of long-term commitments. And then golf is one of the sort of first things that sponsors will cut from their budget, So I don't think their job is easy. So yeah, man, but I think they really are trying to be innovative in the way that they do their social media coverage, the way they try and cover it on TV. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see if they can sustain some kind of like sponsorship level. The one sort of funny story I have with from the media center was one of the other so one of the journalists who arrived on Friday, and he I think does sort of longer form like articles and that sort of stuff. But anyway, he was the Sunshine Tour Ladies LPGA had just finished, and he was so it finished on the Friday. So he was interviewing the winner of that in the media center, but via his cell phone. So, and I don't know, I guess he just does it on speakerphone. So like the whole of the media center is basically listening into this interview. And he has like a little recording device there that he's recording this interview on. And it was like a foreign winner. I'm not sure where she was from, like somewhere in Europe. And his first question to her was like, how does this rank with like your other wins? And this girl's reply is like, well, this is my first one, so it's pretty high up there. And I like, and this guy was such a pro that he was like, yes, of course, but you've obviously had other amateur wins and stuff. And I was like, I had like let out like a little chuckle by this stage, and I was like, so yeah, that did make me laugh. But yeah, I guess like in that room was probably the total sum of like the South African golf media. You can see these guys are like they're shaking down the LPGA, the Sunshine Tour LPGA. They're doing the Sunshine Tour, everything. So it's a small, robust contingent of media that have to cover all of this stuff.
So do you think that with Liv then, I mean, you see, Neiman and Louis and stuff competing in Mauritius, and do you think Sunshine Tour is going to maybe get a bit more of a bump from those pros that play on Live trying to use Sunshine Tour, on their co-sanctioned events? Do you not think it's going to get a bit of a bump in that regard?
Do you mean for like OWGR?
Yes. So I mean, you're looking at players who, or not only that, I mean, there's a lot of those co-sanctioned events where you get, your Open Championship invites, and, so I'm just thinking of, where certain players will become Sunshine Tour members to take advantage of the co-sanctioned events because of some of the opportunities it gives into the majors or with world ranking points, etc.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see. It seems like these guys are using the Asian Tour for that at the moment. So from what I understand, like a whole lot of the Live guys after this week's events are going to some Asian Tour events this week because it's close by. It was close to where Hong Kong is, to go and try and like pump up their OWGR points. I don't know whether the Sunshine Tour offers the same kind of leverage in terms of. I don't know. I guess it seems like it's more a matter of convenience for these guys when there's an Asian Tour event closer by. Whereas I guess South Africa is still kind of on kind of the far end of the world for a lot of these guys. So I would say probably no. I don't think that we're going to see like it being used in that way. But again, like I think we spoke about this before. Like I think they've got an opportunity to really try and do some real innovation like here on the Sunshine Tour in terms of like the tournament formats and that. Like if you really want to get people's interest peaked, like why not have a four tournaments a year, which are full on like team based tournaments, sort of culminating almost like a Curry Cup of golf, you know. I don't know, maybe lean into like some of the brands that exist already, like the provincial stuff. You know, you could have guys playing for like kind of like their home provinces, and play proper, not the live format, but like proper match play tournaments. And I don't know, try something. It's evident that people like watching match play, particularly on TV. And yeah, try something like that. You know, have 4 teams playing each other, and then have some sort of, you know, like knockout thing. So I'm not saying every weekend, but try and mix it up a little bit if you want to try and bring people into the game. This 4-round Stableford is it's good for certain events, but yeah, I mean, I think they've got an opportunity to really try and innovate a little bit. Guys, I got to tell you, not discussed with Jacques on the actual podcast, but I am way in on this idea of a match play event, and I've been giving it some thought since we recorded this podcast, and it struck me that what are the 6 kind of biggest sports franchises in South Africa? You know, you've seen what Liv have done, trying to create teams and trying to create a fan base out of nothing. Not very easy to do. So why not just use existing franchises in South Africa? They have a lot of power. They have a lot of marketing machines. They already have a fan base. So here's what I came up with. We're going to have 6 teams in this match play competition, and we are going to use the top 3 rugby and football teams in South Africa. So we got the Sharks, the Bulls, the Stormers, and then we have Chiefs, Pirates, and Mamelodi Sundowns. And what we're going to do, each of these teams is going to have 6, they're going to draft 6 players into that franchise. And we're going to play 3 rounds of 3 different weekends, maybe spread over 3 months. So in between, you know, normal Sunshine Tour events, so maybe one a month. Going to have to do this during the summer months. I'll explain why now. But we are going to use some great TV windows here. So each team is going to draft in 6 players, and we are going to be playing on a weekend. We're going to be playing a match play, 9 holes match play against each of the other teams. Here's how it's going to work. Kind of similar to the way the Liv do their team formats. You're going to have 4 players who are actually playing in a match. So you're going to have 2 singles matches and a foursomes match. So an alternate shot. Everyone loves alternate shots. So these are going to be 9-hole matches. So these are the so nice and short and sharp. So guys, a 9-hole match. Especially match play, singles match play, 9 holes shouldn't take more than an hour and a half. So here's what we're going to do. We are going to suck up some nice TV time windows. So on Friday, we're going to go to the best iconic courses in South Africa. I'm thinking Cape Town, Durban, and in Johannesburg, Pretoria. So we are probably going to Royal Cape. Hell, actually, you know what? In Cape Town, maybe we go to Metropolitan right next to the stadium. I don't know. But we can work out the courses. But we are going to set it up, the 9 best holes for a match play. We're going to set up tournaments with stands. We're going to get a real festival atmosphere going at these courses over the course of a weekend. So Friday night, we're going to have a window from 5 till 7. That'll be round 1. That'll be 1 match. So each team will play 1 match. Saturday from 11 in the morning, so you can go do your kids' school sports stuff. Then 11 morning till 3 p.m. 3 p.m. is normally when we have the proper sport kicking off, rugby and that. So we're going to suck up that middle of the day TV time. 11 till 3 p.m. There's 4 hours there. We're going to get 2 rounds in there, 2 rounds of 9 holes. And then on Sunday, we are going to play from, we're going to let people go to church and that, maybe go to the beach. And then we are going to have a 2 to 6 p.m. round where we will have the last 2 matches. So yeah, there's 6 players in each team. They can change players after rounds. If guys are out of form, they can sub guys in for other matches. So each team will basically play 5 matches on a weekend. We will do points allocation on a log-based system. We will go to Cape Town. We will then go to Durban. And we will then have a finale up in Gauteng. And the teams will be seeded after the first 2 rounds. So they would have played each other twice. Teams will be seeded 1 to 6. We will have the first top 2 teams go straight to the semi-finals. The other 4 teams have a play out, and those 2 teams go through. We then have semi-finals, and we then have a final at an iconic course. 9-hole matches, guys. Festival vibe. Everyone has the kits already. So we'll have supporters regalia. We'll have Sharks stands, the Sharks girls. We'll have the Pirates fans. We will have the full vuvuzelas. You name it. I think this has really got legs. Pretty sure the Sunshine Tour are going to adopt this. But that's an idea. Let's do it in summer. Let's run it from like January through to March. And or we could even have one maybe during December. Kick off the first match in December in Cape Town. Lots of daylight. Maybe then Durban, January. Finish off in February up in Gauteng. And just cross-market these sports a little bit. So get people watching. A lot of people play golf. Get people watching golf. Get the players there. Get them to market across these channels. And let's just try and innovate something here. I think there's so much room for potential of doing these kind of tournaments. So that is my pitch to the powers that be out there. Let's give it a go, guys. We mentioned earlier in the pod, it was our 21st episode, so we would like to send out some little Goat Track paraphernalia to the first 21 people who send us an email. So please send an email to thegoat.trackza@gmail.com. Say that again, thegoat.trackza@gmail.com. Send us an email, let us know your thoughts on the show, drop us your postal address, and please, if possible, and this is really not compulsory, but it would be epic if you shared a couple other people's email addresses with us who you think would really enjoy this content, and we would like to build up a bit of an email list, not to bombard people, but just to be able to communicate when we have new episodes up, new videos, and possibly some paraphernalia that we may start producing, some apparel stuff. So drop us that email address again, thegoats.trackza@gmail.com. Let's get the 6-team match play events off the ground. Love to hear your thoughts on that as well. Or if you have a better idea, I'd love to send us your ideas on email, and we will we'll put them out on the show. I think just again to reiterate to people that it's still, regardless of whether you recognize these professionals' names or not, like just if there's a tournament like close by to you, just go and spend half a day there, and you're guaranteed to have a good time out there. It was super. The one thing it was very pleasant walking around, and it wasn't like a chore. Sometimes when you go to the rugby or something like that, it's a mission. You're fighting for parking, and you're fighting people in the grandstands and at the pub and that. Like, this is completely the opposite of that. You're very, very unlikely to be fighting anyone anywhere for anything when you go watch the golf. So I would encourage you to go out.
You were fighting Jamie Donaldson.
Well, exactly, yeah, but maybe you don't. Maybe you won't have to deal with a grumpy Welshman. Jacques, the other kind of funny, well, not funny, but there were two other things that stood out from like a behind the scenes thing, and this is more on the players' side. But there's a lot of talk about making these tournaments smaller. Like we saw on the PGA Tour this weekend with the 70-man field and that. And I mean, the one thing that jumped out to me is how massive the field was, and how many people are involved with like a full field event. So like this was a full field event. I'd have to go and look up how many players started, but I'm guessing it was around the 140, 150 mark. And that's a hell of a lot of people, like from a logistics perspective. So you're dealing with two different, morning and afternoon fields. And so, each player's got a caddy. There's family around. I guess there's a couple of, physios, coaches, and that. I mean, you look on TV and you go, jeepers, there's absolutely no one there. But let me tell you, like in the background, like in the parking lots and at the driving range and that, it's like there's an absolute bun fight, bro. It's like all these guys are like they're all trying to grind and like make the cuts and get a paycheck. And jeepers, it's a real like kind of logistical nightmare for these oaks to organize. So it was quite chaotic to kind of watch that unfold. And look, everything looks to be going pretty smoothly. But you can imagine for the guys organizing those tournaments, from rules officials to scoring to, players complaining about the type of ball they're hitting on the driving range or something. There's got to be a lot of complexity there from a tour's perspective. So I must say, I was quite impressed with what a well-oiled machine that was as well.
Yeah, 155 players, Terence. It's no small feat to get them all around. I think, luckily with the sort of half-fault weather and the rest of it, you've got the storms, but you've also got a hell of a lot of sunlight. But 155 players is a lot.
It's a hell of a lot. And one of the funny sort of notes that I have was obviously all these players and caddies and stuff, most of them know each other very well. They see each other week in, week out, and you can see obviously there's friends and some people who aren't friends and whatever. There must be so many dynamics in that front, like players that other guys hate, and like it's
internal politics.
It's like being at a school. You can see the cool kids and the oak who's on his own. Like no one talks to that guy, and like the caddies I think probably like cause a lot of crap as well. So I definitely saw some of that, like those kind of politics playing out. Like the one funny thing that I saw was I was standing in the parking lot, and it was now guys who were finishing the morning field, and then the afternoon guys are going out. So it was a very active time in the parking lot because like the shuttles are there dropping, like fetching people, taking them back to their hotels, and then other oaks about to tee off. And I saw this guy came walking past me, and he had his caddy was carrying his golf clubs behind him, and this guy had his travel his golf club travel bag that he was dragging in one hand, and his like suitcase in the other hand. And one of the other pros, he was about to go tee off, stops him, and he's like, "Hey, Mike, like, how did it go today?" Like, I mean, the oak is literally holding his like travel bag and suitcase. Is like, clearly it didn't go well. He's heading like straight to the airport. And this oak's just like, oh, like I can't remember what he said. He was like another, like he said something like another fucking one or something. Like he's obviously not in a good space. Like another cut gone. And it was quite actually a somber kind of. I stood there for about 15 minutes watching all this like hustle and bustle, and like it's, again, it talks to like how for a lot of these oaks, it's like they're trying to earn a paycheck, and like that feeling of like walking off the 18th green and like missing the cut by 2, or I don't know, even I suppose if you miss the cut by 10, like it must be so crap. It's like 2 days of like hard graft, hot weather, whatever, and you get absolutely zero out of it. So it's it's brutal. And a lot of people say the cuts is like kind of what makes professional golf. So I mean, I guess it does put the guys through the fire, but it's just kind of brutal to see it on the back end, just seeing these oaks kind of packing their bags, trudging off to wherever the next tournament is, I guess.
Yeah, slamming the boot of the car, getting in, driving off into the sunset for the next one.
Yeah, man. So that's that kind of. The last little thing I had was the driving range was an absolute like shit show. And 2 reasons. The one is you mentioned this in our previous podcast, but the driving range at Glendower is downhill. Okay, and it's obviously was only built whatever at a certain era. So like the end of it, I haven't gone and measured it, but it's probably like 300 yards or I don't know 280 yards or something. And you and I were joking about the biggest build out they had at the whole week at that tournament was they had to erect like a 30-meter high barricade, which must have been, I don't know, Jacques, it must have been 150 meters long, that thing. I mean, it was a serious piece of infrastructure that they put in there just to stop the balls, because behind that is the 8th hole, that par 3 hole. And I mean, standing there watching these guys on the driving range, I mean, they literally were either hitting that thing on the full or like one bouncing it straight into that barricade. So like it definitely like earns its place, that barricade. So yeah, that was kind of the one takeaway. It was just like how difficult that must be for like these courses in kind of more built up areas to like be able to host these events, where they've only got a small driving range. I remember at DCC when they had that tournament there, they used to go across to the King's Park and they used to hit on the rugby fields there. But yeah, not every course has like those facilities next to it. So that was quite interesting. And then the other thing was they didn't have enough space like horizontally. So like at the peak of like enough grass basically to hit off. So at the peak of the like before the afternoon guys were going out, like firstly the guys were almost uncomfortably close to each other. Like obviously these guys are professionals, but like I don't know, you see the guys, I don't know, on the PGA Tour or whatever, they look like they've got a like 10 meters either side of them, to hit. I mean these guys were on top of each other, bro. And then what I noticed is that there was like a second tier of the driving range, which was like, so it goes down a little bit in tiers. They've got like strips of grass. And obviously they'd run out of space, like horizontally. And there were guys who were teeing off on the second tier, sort of not directly in front of the first tier, but a little bit off to the side, like a little bit off to the left. But I mean, not that far off, bro. And Dylan Mostert, that left-hander, I mean, he was hitting his driver on the back tier pretty much straight over the head of the oak in the tier in front of him, bro. Like, I took a video of it, Jacques. It's like you and I would like, or any of us amateurs would like 100% be drilling that oak, And to me, it just spoke to like how confident these oaks are. To just like everyone was so chilled. The oak was just literally thrashing like 3 irons, like just over this oak's like right ear. It was a hell of a thing to see. Yeah. Anyway,
it's like I know, and we do a drill in squash where if you want to get someone to, when you're trying to get youngsters to serve properly, you actually stand on the front wall and you say, you have to hit it above me. And it's like an exercise in trust. You're sort of hoping that you haven't given them too many drills, that they're just going to drill the squash ball into you. But it's a good way to get them to concentrate on hitting it properly high. So maybe that's part of the drills that these players are doing. It's, if it's your first year on tour, you've got to go to the bottom tier and let the veterans drill it over your head. It's almost like an initiation.
Yeah, maybe those are the guys that only had a certain ranking that they had to use the bottom tier. But it was pretty wild.
The oak walking the oak walking through the parking lot. They're like, "What happened?" No, flip. All my nerves were shot after warming up on the driving range and having an oak smash his driver past my ear the whole time.
Just hearing it is like being on the Normandy beaches during the D-Day landings. Just hearing this like coming past your ear every time.
And probably the cracking into the barrier at the back as well.
Yeah, there was a lot going on at that. I mean, it's. I got to say, it was a lot smaller, that range, than I imagined it would be. So it was nip and tuck there. But anyway, man, it was a really cool couple sort of day and a half, and I'm sure we will try and get out to another tournament sometime this year. Either probably the SA Open, and hopefully Nedbank as well. So I know we started making some plans for that, but I think for me it definitely reminded me like kind of how good these guys are, and then secondly, it was just really awesome to see the kind of little machine that is these pro golf tournaments, from a media and from just like a logistics perspective. It's a hell of a thing for these golf courses to hand their course over to these guys. The one part that's missing for me, Jacques, is and this is where it would be really good to we need somebody to explain to us kind of the other side of it. So like the media rights side, like, because essentially they're not making money from boots on the ground there. That all the money is the selling of that, the media rights for that tournament. I know there's a sponsor, but that's the side that I need to get my head around, because if you looked at the media, like what I saw all the media doing, it was totally focused on getting stuff online, getting it up for the broadcast, so it's the fans on the ground is completely ancillary, which in some ways is a bit kind of sad, but that's just the nature of the world we live in now. It's all about selling these sports rights online. Well, listen, this is I think this has been a good kind of like wrap up, and happy 21st to you, Jacques. I hope you don't see any SIF outfits today. I'll be trying to forget about all the outfits you told me about. I would imagine the outfits at my 21st were a lot tamer. I did have a couple of mates who opted to come as prostitutes and not as pirates, so they were a little bit stiff, but the rest was reasonably tame. So
I hope you managed to get the sound of those parakeets squawking out of your subconscious.
Well, it's funny you say that, because I was watching a couple of videos that I took on the course yesterday, and you can hear those bloody things in the background. I did laugh because the Glendower logo is like some sort of bird. The golf club logo for Glendower, and I'm a bit of a bird watcher myself, and honestly, I can't tell you what that bird is. It looks like a crane, like a blue crane or something, but I don't think it is. We need to dig a little deeper, because I saw a sketch of it on their website, and that ain't no. Maybe it
could be an Egyptian goose.
I think it's like a variation of some sort of blue crane, but I think what would be more apt is if they changed that to one of those parakeets. So we may have to petition Glendower to reconsider their logo, given like the sheer density of these invasive parakeets out there. Well, Jacques, we're going to wrap it up here, and thanks for everything you do for the Go Track. We miss you, Hoff.
It's more than a pleasure, Terence. Thanks for Hoffman. We got you on the next one.
I think Hoff has to host the next Go Track, because he opted not to bring his 4-month-old baby to Joburg to come watch golf with us. So it's got to be some sort of fine for that.
100%.